Hello everyone, this is the FPL trio. I am Pulkit and I am joined by my co-hosts Daniel and Michael. How's it going, Daniel?
It's going great. Happy to be here and to be analyzing the games. Yeah, let's get right into it. Michael, you're good as well?
Yeah, pretty good. Can't wait until game week 2 starts again.
Yeah, so basically we will, as Daniel mentioned, we'll review some of the matches that happened in this game week and look at the key players that were involved in those matches. So what we have is the SofaScore website, which has actually quite a lot of stats. So we'll just try to go through some of the key stats and discuss and share our opinions. So let's review Chelsea versus Man City. Man City won it 2-0, pretty much repeat of the preseason, like in terms of the result, not exact scoreline. And Kovacic and Haaland on the scoreboard. Kovacic, by the way, what a wonderful goal. Amazing.
I want to
And
respect him. He didn't celebrate in front of Chelsea fans. So kudos to him.
yeah. And then looking at the stats, which basically shows how the scoreline doesn't necessarily reflect what Chelsea received. So expected goals of 1.01 for Chelsea and 0.77 for Manchester City. I mean, this is what City does. They know how to get the win. So basically, big chances pretty much even, 1 and 1. Total shots again even, 10 and 11. Goalkeeper saves. So pretty much all the stats look fairly even, which is why the scoreline just suggests more of a experience that City has in winning the games, and Chelsea is somewhat lacking in that direction. I think they, once Chelsea team starts to gel up together with these players and they know what team they want to stick with, I think they can do a lot better. And now that we have a good run for Chelsea, I think Chelsea players could do really good.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we can go to the
Yeah,
player
we
heat
can look
map.
at the player positions if you guys don't have anything else. So looking at Chelsea's player positions, again, most attacking is Nicholas Jackson. He's the striker, so pretty much expected to be the most attacking one.
Yeah, I mean, with Nicholas Jackson, he had a very good end to last season, and definitely expected him to hit the ground running. But again, with this heat map, he's definitely getting into positions to attack, but he just can't hit that ball to the back of the net. So I think this will show that he might not be playing the next game up front, and just gives more backing to Nkunku to possibly take his position. Are you able to show Nkunku? Yeah, so with this one here, it seems that he's trying to be that winger more often than not, with a little bit of cutting in. So I think Nkunku is probably a better number 9, in my opinion anyway. And he might be playing more in that forward central role than Jackson in the next game. What do you think, Daniel, for this game?
Yeah, it's an interesting take. I think you both have Nkunku, right?
No, I don't have
Uh,
Nkunku.
So I mean, it would definitely benefit you if that does end up happening.
yeah.
And yeah, Jackson, I mean, but he did get off injured, Jackson, so that might be why, Nkunku might start the next game. But yeah, I just want to talk about Palmer for a bit. He did not seem very into the game like he was last year. I know his heat map is pretty good in the Bucks, and also they were playing City, so it's the same scenario as when Wolves were playing Arsenal. But yeah, I mean, I'd like to see more from him in the next game. It didn't seem like he was going to, be the key for Chelsea, at least in this game. So hopefully he can turn that around, or else we might have to wave goodbye to him soon. But no, I'm sure he would. I mean, he's a great player. He was the main focal point in Chelsea's attack last year. So yeah, I mean, they just had a super tough game to start the season. Next, they're playing Wolves and then Crystal Palace, Bournemouth, and West Ham. So they should be good games for him to return. What do you guys think, Polkit? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, Palmer, I think as we were also talking before, Daniel, I think Chelsea is now not as much of a Palmer team as they were in the last season. And I think Nkunku would have a lot to do with that. Because if you compare the heat maps for Palmer and Nkunku, I think Nkunku is going much more inside the box and taking shots from inside the box. I was actually quite surprised when Nkunku was subbed out at 57 minutes. I thought at that point when he was not subbed out, I was thinking Jackson would be the one who would get subbed out. Nkunku would take that number 9 position with maybe Neto coming on and taking that winger position. But that didn't happen for some reason. And I'm hoping to see something like that in the next match, which actually makes Nkunku a great prospect with Palmer. Let's see how it goes. He's quite expensive compared to Nkunku, but of course he's a great player and he might be on penalties as well.
The manager confirmed that he said Palmer is our pen taker.
Okay,
All
that's
right.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think the reason why Nkunku got subbed off early, but again, in my opinion, I think he got subbed off a bit too early, is because he had that long injury last season where he comes on, he gets injured for 3 games, plays 2, gets injured again. So I think at the moment, the new Chelsea manager, he's just trying to ease him into a team, see where he fits in, whether it's a true number 9 or if it's a winger or just behind. But I think slowly but surely he'll start playing that 75, 80, 85 minutes more regularly this season. And yeah, I hope, and also with Palmer, hopefully he does get more involved in each game. But it seems just off this one game, they're trying to not lean on Palmer too much in terms of scoring goals, but more in controlling the play and getting those assists for, the Jacksons, Netos, and Kunkus of Chelsea.
Yeah, agreed. Also, Cucurella looked quite good for Chelsea,
So well.
but I guess he got injured by the
Yeah.
end of it.
I guess you can blame Haaland for that because he wouldn't help him up.
He hurt his chant.
Yeah.
Yeah, but let's see. I mean, Correa could be a good Chelsea option down the line if he's not injured. But yeah, nice heat map over there. He covered a lot of ground.
Yeah, Cucurella was in one of my draft teams. Yeah, but he should be good if the other defenders of Chelsea and their structure can become better
Yeah.
defensively anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
before we move to City, maybe just one thing I'm seeing a lot in the community, and because Michael, you have Nkunku, a lot of the people in the community are already moving Nkunku or considering moving him. What do you have to say about that?
I think they're just, I can't wrap my head around that because it's just one game, the first game of the season. I think a lot of players will be rusty because it's either they've played Euros and they're too tired, they went to the World Cup, or even if they were in preseason, they're not training with the full team. Because everyone's just everywhere. They're training with the reserve team, under 21s, under 18s. So I think obviously they're going to be not playing optimal in their positions. So it's just, yeah, I don't know why people would be selling him so early when it was hyped up in the community that he's going to be the next big thing for the first at least 10 game weeks. So I would just suggest to hold him for now. If by game week 3 or 4 he still gets subbed off in that 60 to 70 minutes, then potentially sell him then.
Yeah, completely agree with you. And I think with Chelsea's fixture run coming, with his price, with his positioning, I don't see why one should sell him at the moment. Especially when we know that it's just one game and one game against the team that won like 6, 7 Premier
And
League
yeah, that's
titles.
also,
Yeah.
just crazy.
All right, then looking at City now, of course, the front three. So Doku started, Haaland and Savinho. I didn't follow Savinho too much. Do you guys know? Is he an academy graduate?
I watched the game. He played great. A lot of people are comparing him to Mahrez, but he got injured, so he got subbed off injured. So I don't know how that's gonna play in the long term. But yeah, let's talk about Haaland for a bit. Pulkit's really the only
Yeah.
one that owns him here. And I mean, if you look at his heat map, you would say maybe he came on for 20 minutes only, but he actually played the full 90. Would you say it's a flopped game from him? I mean, he scored a goal, but did you expect more as a 15 million player?
Yeah, so basically, I'll tell you why I own Haaland. One of the reasons is the flexibility part that I mentioned in our team review videos. I really like to have the expensive players in each position, and basically I can switch around. The other thing was that even after having Haaland, I was happy with my team because we have so many cheap, good options. Like at 5.5 million, you have so many options. At 6.5 million, you have so many options. So again, that was another reason to have him. And finally, about this game, I'm still happy with his return. And basically, with Haaland, it's always like that. He doesn't have a good game. Like he just have those moments in the game, and he delivers. And
Yeah.
that is good enough for me.
Yeah, no, again, he scored a goal. Even Doku, if you go on his heat map, he was super electric. He was making runs down the flank all the time. He was causing a lot of trouble to Chelsea's defense. He also played the full 90, so that's something to consider if someone wants to get him. But yeah, Michael, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think for me, like with this game, Haaland was always going to score a goal. But I think, in my opinion, he didn't have a good game because, like, last year against Chelsea, I think he scored double digits. And I think for a 15 million player, I expect him to get at least 9 points every single game. And especially against a team, I know we're talking about Chelsea here, they're a big team, but they have a good attack, but they have rubbish defense. So I expect him to score at least 2 goals against teams with defenses like this. So I think he was more of a flop than not, purely because of the price tag and his points that he scored.
Yeah, I mean, I did expect a brace from Haaland from this game, but I'm not too sad with not getting that because I could see that at least in this game, because there was no Foden and Alvarez. So in the last season, when we had Foden and Alvarez in the City team, there were still places where the points got distributed. And Foden, I have seen that he tries to go for the shot if he can. He doesn't necessarily always try to pass it to Haaland and let him do the thing. When Foden also didn't start, I could see everything going through Haaland. He was in a good position and a lot of times. I wouldn't say as a flop, but again, yes, I do agree that one is paying a very heavy price for him in FPL, and maybe combination of those cheaper players could combine together and get better returns. For me, it's just that I feel relaxing to own him. And also, I find it hard to find which combination of those players would basically cover him. With him, it's actually, it may not be that he gets those hat tricks or braces every week, but you feel it's more likely that he'll at least get some return almost every week.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Anyone
Yeah.
else from the team that stood out?
It seems that we're missing KDB in this whole conversation. Like, I know last season he had all those injuries, but this season he's fully back up and running. But again, he only got 3 points this game. So, do you guys have a thought on whether KDB is showing his age, or should we still be having him in our teams later down the road?
No, I mean, I know he didn't get a return, but he got, I think, like zero point 0.3 or 0.3 expected assists. So, I mean, he's 9.5, so I think there are better options out there, but he's not a bad player to own.
Yeah, and even looking at the game, he looked pretty nice. Like he created a lot of chances. His passing is still elite, and this is the first season almost in a long time when he is not that premium priced. Like 9.5, he's the same price as Foden. Of course, Foden has that more XG threat compared to XA threat from KDB, but I think he could be an option at some point, depending on how consistent he is with his minutes. I mean, last season he came out on his own and said that he is not physically fit enough to play week in, week out. So if he doesn't say something like that again, or if we are seeing that he starts consistently, even though if not KDB, I think players around him could benefit a lot from him.
Yeah, true, true.
All
All
right,
right.
then.
Well, that was a good analysis.